Hello, welcome. If you're joining after, this is a recording, and we're gonna start class. And we were just discussing about how we kind of like are able to build a little bit of a home practice or not. You know, like in the handouts that I will be sending, kind of like work a little bit as a tool, as a nice tool for us to kind of like remember the sequence. And if we ever want to step on our mat and practice the series, we kind of like know where we're at. Today's practice is going to focus on what we saw last time. I want to go through, of course, a little bit of what we saw. Maybe let's skip a couple of those because I want to introduce a little bit of the primary series, and I want to introduce the closing sequence, which is really important. And but I also want to focus the practice in breath. I think we mentioned that last time that it is really different if we kind of like move as we inhale and exhale, and then like like start moving without the sequence of the breath. And when we focus on that movement, that little mental count as we inhale 2, 3, 4, and exhale 2, 3, 4, and kind of like we get into that routine of like the inhalation is 2, 3, 4, and the exhalation 2, 3, 4, and it's like same thing. It's like a clock, right? So, all right. So I'm just gonna close this door because little Humphrey sometimes likes to join, and we don't want Humphrey joining, and kind of get on the way. All right, so we are going to start today's practice just sitting down for a moment. We'll go through the opening chant in a minute, but we will start just sitting with our hands on the thighs. Maybe if you want to place a block underneath your hips, you are more than welcome to do that. Sitting up nice and tall with your hands at your under thighs with your palms facing up. Take a moment here to connect to your breath. To connect to your intention. Just a simple exercise in here. Let's take a big breath in. And empty all out. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. In 2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4. In 2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4. In 2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4. I'm going to start adding inner tension. In 2, 3, 4. Stay inside. 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Out breath, hold 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold inside 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Stay outside 2, 3, 4. In 2, 4. Holding 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4. Last one. In 2, 3, 4. Holding 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Stay out, 2, 3, 4. Release. Take a moment here. Just let your breath come in and out of your nose normally. And whenever you feel ready, come to a standing position at the top of your mat. And just stand with our feet together, the hands by our sides, shoulders rotate to the back, spine nice and long. Maybe if you feel comfortable, bring your hands at the center of the chest in Anjali Mudra. You can focus your gaze on something that's not moving in front of you or closing your eyes. We're going to go through the opening chant and we'll do a call and repeat. We'll start together with the sound of home. Cleansing breath first. Deep inhale. Full breath out. Inhale to open. Vande Gurunam, Vande Gurunam, Charanarvinde, Charanarvinde, Shandarashita, Shandarashita, Swatma Sukadabode, Swatma Sukadabode, Nishresye, Nishresye, Jangalikaya Mane, Samsara Bala Bala, Samsara Bala Bala, Mohashanke, Mohashanke, Avahu Purushakaram, Avahu Purushakaram, Shangachakrase Dharinam, Shangachakrase Dharinam, Sahasra Shrisam Shvetam, Sahasra Shrisam Shvetam, Pranamami Patanjalim, Pranamami Patanjalim. Together. Release our hands by our sides. And we start with Surya Namaskar. Ekam inhale, reach up towards the sky. Do exhale, fold forward over the legs. Then inhale, lengthen. Chaturanga, plant those hands and step back to your plank. Take it easy for the first one. Maybe you lower the knees and lower all the way down. Let's find the back and inhale, forward pose. And on the exhale, press back, tuck your toes, send the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Take a moment here to take 5 sounding breaths. And again, we start with that little clock or that little ticking. You know, like you can inhale 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. On your next inhale, raise your heels, bend your knees, walk or step to the top of the mat. Lengthen the spine, inhale, exhale to just fold. Root down with your feet, come all the way up. Samasthiti, hands by your sides. Again, deep inhale, reach up, look up, do it, exhale, fall forward again. Lengthen the spine, inhale, Chaturanga, plant those hands and step or hop back, Chaturanga, Namasana underneath your toes. Find your back and inhale, Exhale to press back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take a moment again, spreading your fingers nice and wide, hips towards the sky. 2, 3, 4, out. 2, 3, 4, in. 2, 3, 4, out. 2, 3, 4. Let's take another. In. 2, 3, 4. Empty. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, reach your heels up, bend your knees, walk your step to the top of the mat. Lengthen the spine, inhale, exhale, pull forward over the legs. Root down through your feet, come all the way up, reach up. On the exhale, Samasthiti, hands by your sides. Last one, deep inhale, reach up, look up. Do it, exhale, pull forward again. Lengthen the spine, inhale. Chaturanga, plant those hands, step or hop back. Chaturanga Vandasana with knees or toes. Find your back bend, inhale. Exhale, press back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Again, take a moment here, connect to your breath. Spreading those fingers nice and wide. Spine is nice and long. Take an inhale. Full out breath. We begin to activate the back of the throat with the breath. Another inhale. Smooth exhale. And your next inhale, raise your heels. Bend your knees. Walk or step to the top of the mat. Lengthen the spine. Inhale. Exhale to just fall. Root down through your feet, come all the way up. On the exhale, Samasthiti, hands by your sides. Bend your knees, step your hips low, Utkatasana, reach up. On the exhale, fold forward again. Lengthen the spine, inhale. Chaturanga, plant those hands and step back to your plank, lower down. Find your back bend, inhale. Exhale to press back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, step your right foot in between the hands, back heel pivots down, Virabhadrasana 8. Reaching up with your hands, the heel to heel alignment, the foot pointing towards the side. Another inhale. On the exhale, plant those hands to step back. Chaturanga position, high to low. Take your back and inhale. Exhale, press back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. On your next inhale, step the left foot in between the hands, back heel pivots down, Virabhadrasana, a second side, big breath in. On the exhale, plant those hands and step back, going through that flow, high to low. Find your back in Mukha, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And again, we stay for 5 sounding breaths. Keeping those hips nice and high. If you need to bend the knees so the spine is nice when we bend them. Pressing into those hands. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Raise your heels, bend your knees, walk or step to the top of the mat. Lengthen the spine, inhale. Exhale, just fold. Bend your knees, sit your hips low, Utkatasana, reach up. On the exhale, Samasthiti, hands by your sides. Last one, Ekam, inhale, reach up. Do it, exhale, fold forward again. Treni, inhale, lengthen. Chaturanga, plant those hands, step or hop back. Chaturanga Vandasana. Pancha, inhale, find your back bend. Shut, exhale, downward facing dog. Sapta, inhale, step your right foot in between the hands, back heel pivots down, Virabhadrasana 8. Ashtanga, exhale, plant those hands to step back, Chaturanga position. Find your back and Nava. Dasha, exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Ekadasha, inhale, step your left foot in between the hands, back heel pivots down, Virabhadrasana. On the exhale, plant those hands and step back. Chaturanga position. Trayodasha, inhale, pull through. On the exhale, push the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. That makes 14 asanas. Chaturanga. And we breathe. 1, 2, spreading those fingers nice and wide. Arms are nice and long. 3, 4. Finding some stillness. And 5, raise your heels, bend your knees, walk or step to the top of the mat. Lengthen the spine, inhale. Shodasha, exhale, fold forward. Saptadasha, inhale, bend your knees, reach up, look up. On the exhale, Samasthiti, hands by your sides. All right, hands to your hips. Open your feet to distance apart. Rotate your shoulders back. What's the name of the first pose? It's a question. Who knows? Okay. Padangusthasana. Angushta. Okay, so bend your folding forward, bending your knees as much as you need in here. Hold your big toes with your peace fingers. Lengthen the spine on an inhale. On the exhale, fold forward over the legs. Crown of the head moves down towards the floor. Pada means foot. Angushta means big toe. Take another inhale. Smooth out breath. On your next inhale, lengthen the spine. Inhale. On the exhale, Padahastasana, hands underneath your feet. Hands, hasta means hand. Lengthen your hand. Lengthen your spine. Inhale. On the exhale, begin to fold forward back again. The crown of the head moves down towards the floor. And again, we bend the knees as much as we need. So we can keep the spine nice and long. Shoulders moving away from your ears. Bringing your gaze or your drishti towards your nose. Another in breath. Full out breath. On your next inhale, lengthen the spine back again. Releasing your hands. Hands to your hips, micro and the knees coming all the way back to standing. And on the exhale, Samasthiti at the top of the mat. Beautiful. Because as we stand at the top of the mat, we step your right foot back and we turn all 10 toes towards the sides of the mat. Extend your hands towards the sides. We'll call this pose starfish. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, we open the right foot towards the back of the room. Hinge forward, Trikonasana. Hand comes to your shin or a block or your big toe, and the other hand reaches up towards the sky. Take a nice big breath in. Empty that out. 2 more. Long exhale, rotating that chest towards the sky. Another in breath. On the exhale, gaze down, micro and the knee, coming all the way back to the starfish. Trikonasana, safe inside, opening the left foot towards the front of the mat. Hinge forward. The other hand comes to your shin or a block or your big toe, and the other hand reaches up towards the sky. Again, imagining that wall that is supporting your back. So yes, the chest is nice and open. Take another in breath. Full out breath. Gaze down, micro and the knee, coming all the way back to starfish. Parivrita Trikonasana. We open the right foot towards the back of the mat. We windmill those arms. We bring the opposite hand to your shin and the other hand to the lower back. Take a nice in breath in here. Once we start finding that rotation on the chest, we maybe begin to open the chest to open the hand towards the sky. Another inhale. Smooth out breath. On your next inhale, micro and the knee, coming all the way back to starfish. Second side, we open the left foot towards the front of the mat. We hinge forward. We bring that opposite hand to support the shin or the block, and the other hand to support either the lower back, or once we find that rotation again from the chest, we may reach the hand towards the sky. Big breath in. We want to form a nice straight line from your lower hand to the other one. Another in breath. On the exhale, gaze down, micro bend the knee, coming all the way back to your starfish. And on the exhale, sama feet at the top of the mat. We step again, the right foot towards the back of the mat, this time a little bit wider. Arshvakonasana, opening the foot, bending your knee this time, bending a lot. Take a nice big breath and extend your arms. On the exhale, forearm to your thigh, the other arm extends towards the back of the room. With your palm facing down towards the floor, if we have a little bit more space, we may bring the hand to a block on the outside of the foot or to the floor. Another inhale, smooth out breath, gaze towards your palm, another in breath. On the exhale, gaze down, coming back to your starfish. Opening the other foot, bending your knee, bringing your forearm to your thigh, the other arm reaching forward. Again, you want to form a nice straight line from the tip of your top fingers to the back heel. Another inhale. Smooth exhale. One more. On the exhale, gaze down, coming all the way back to starfish. Parivrita Parsvakonasana. Open your right foot towards the back of the mat. Hands to the center of the chest. Get ready to twist. Again, either bringing your opposite elbow to your front thigh. You can grab your thigh with opposite hand and the other hand can support the lower back. The back heel may come off the ground. That's okay. If this is too hard, we may bring the knee towards the ground as well. Another in breath. Full exhale. One more. On the exhale, gaze down, coming all the way back to starfish, untwisting and finding our second side. Hands to the center of the chest. We begin to hinge forward. Maybe we bring the elbow or the hand to the thigh. The back heel can stay off the ground. To start, another in breath. Smooth out breath. One more. On the exhale, gaze down, coming all the way back up to starfish. And on the exhale, samasthiti knee, step forward at the top of the mat. All right, hands to your hips. Open the feet again towards the back of the room. Take a big breath in. Rasarita, Padottanasana. Take a big breath in, open the chest in here. On the exhale, we fold forward. We bring the hands to the floor in front of us and lengthen the spine. Take a nice long breath. On the exhale, maybe we stay or begin to bend the elbows as the crown of the head moves down towards the ground. Take another in breath. Smooth out breath. Beautiful. One more. Exhale that out. On your next inhale, lengthen your spine. Lengthen the arms, hands to your hips, micro bend the knees, coming all the way back to standing. Extend your arms by your sides. B. On the exhale, hands to your hips. Keeping the hands on the hips, rotate the shoulders back. Try to bring your elbows to squeeze towards each other. Big breath in. On the exhale, we begin to fold forward back again. And this time, we use the strength of your legs to try to bring the torso through the legs. Crown of the head moving down towards the floor, and we breathe. 3, 4, 5. Pressing into those feet, coming back all the way back up to standing. On your next inhale, reach up towards the sides. On the exhale, hold opposite hands. Clasping your hands behind you. Take a nice long breath. Rotate shoulders back. On the exhale, we begin to fold forward, back again over the legs. Maybe the palms turn towards the sky this time. Take a big breath in, and here, let the crown of the head again move towards the ground. Take 2 more breaths. Again, remembering that count. In 2, 3, 4. X. 2, 3, 4. In 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Pressing into the feet. Inhale, come all the way back up. Extending your arms by your side. Last one. On the exhale, catch your hips. Rotate your shoulders back. Inhale. On the exhale, begin to fold forward, back again. Catch your big toes with your wrist fingers and lengthen. On the exhale, we fold forward, elbows move to the sides, and the crown of the head moves down towards the floor. Yeah, shoulders away from ears, trying to relax the neck. In, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 4, out, 3, 4. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Stay for the out breath. Hands to your hips, micro bend the knees, coming all the way back to standing. And on the exhale, they step forward, Samasthiti at the top of the mat. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna step last time, the right foot back. And this time, alternate toes turn towards the back of the mat. We hold the hips, or maybe we begin to bring our hands on that reverse prayer or modified reverse prayer with opposite fists, opposite elbows, opposite wrists. Take a nice big breath in. On the exhale, begin to fold forward over the front leg. And again, try to watch out in here for any shift on your hips. Try to keep the hips nice and level and the spine nice and long. If you tend to hyperextend the knee, watch out for your front knee. Take another inhale. Smooth out breath. Everyone, can you drop your left hip a little bit? Yes. Another inhale. Full exhale. Pressing the foot on the ground, begin to rise back up. Turning all 10 toes toward the front of the mat. Uttanasana, second side. Again, rotate your shoulders back, big breath in, and here on the exhale, we begin to fold forward over the front leg. And again, trying to keep the hips nice and stable, nice and parallel to each other. Another inhale. Smooth exhale. Beautiful alignment, everyone. One more. On the exhale, pressing to the foot, coming all the way back up. Extend your arms. And on the exhale, Samasthiti at the top of the mat. Beautiful. Okay. Fundamental asanas. Check. Okay. We're going to start with primary series. All right. So I want to start with Udita Hasta Padangusthasana. But we're actually going to take it for right now. We're going to take it lying down. So we're going to take a big breath in to reach up towards the sky. On the exhale, fold forward over the legs. Lengthen the spine. Inhale. Chaturanga, plant those hands and step our hop up. Find your back and inhale. Exhale to press back. Uttanasana, downward facing dog. All right. So whenever you're ready, welcome step to your seat. What's that? Yes, I have another one. You have one? Okay, perfect. That's good. And I have one for Nadia and one for Sherry. And I'll use my towel. Okay. So for this, Nadia, I need you to bring your mat a little bit towards this side, so Sherry has enough space. I think the other two of us, we have enough space too. Okay, just a little bit, just a little bit. You're here. So she has a little bit more space because she has very long legs. Yeah. Yeah, tell him. Okay, so what I wanted to do is Upita Hasta Parandushtasana. Upita means extended, Hasta means hand, Pada means foot, and Dushta means big toe, hand to big toe pose. Okay, extended hand to big toe pose. So we're gonna take out the part of the balancing formula right now of the pose, just to take a look at the anatomy or how the mobility it is in general for this pose. So we're going to start lying down on the floor. And we're going to bring the right leg in front of us towards the sky. And we're going to place the strap around the ball of the foot, supporting the ball of your foot. And the other leg for this one, it's going to stay extended on the mat. Just to try to recreate what will happen when you're standing up in your mat. You're going to flex the foot and pretend that you're pressing your foot against a wall, or by any means the floor. Take another inhale here. Hold your strap with your right hand. The other hand can stay on your hip or it can stay on your thigh, kind of putting a little bit of pressure on your thigh so it stays there. Take a big breath in here. On the exhale, begin to fall forward over the leg. As we raise the torso and lift the chest, we try to bring eventually the chin towards the shin. Take another in breath. Full out breath. On your next inhale, begin to drop your shoulders back down. And on the exhale, begin to open your leg towards your right side. Trying to keep both shoulders on the mat, trying to keep both hips on the ground. So if that means your leg doesn't go too far, that's all right. Try to keep the alignment, pressing the whole back of the body on the ground. Another in breath. Smooth out breath. On your next inhale, come back to center. On the exhale, begin to fold forward over the leg, back again. Take another in. On the exhale, release the strap. Keep the leg, hands to your hips, point your toes. Take a big breath in here. Smooth breath out. One more. On the exhale, release the leg to the side of the other and shake that. All right. We're gonna bring the other leg towards the sky and we change the strap. We keep the other leg nice and extended with the foot nice and flexed. We take a nice inhale in here first to prepare. On the exhale, we fold forward, lifting the chest. Try to press the thigh against the mat. Take another in breath. Smooth out breath. One more. On the exhale, begin to come back to center. Take a nice big breath in here. On the exhale, we begin to open the leg towards the left hand side. Big breath in. Smooth breath out. Again, pressing the whole back of the body on the floor. Two more. Long exhale. Last one. On the exhale, begin to come back to center. The other foot is active. Take a nice big breath in. Lift the chest, fall forward over the leg. Exhale it out. On your next inhale, come back to center. Releasing your strap, releasing your leg. Point your toes, hands to your hips. Take a big breath in. Keep it up. Smooth breath out. One more. On the exhale, begin to release the leg back to the ground. Beautiful. Let's bring the knees into the chest to give yourselves a little squeeze. And whenever you feel ready, begin to rock and roll and find your seat. Okay. You're gonna take a look at the second posture of primary series, seated. Okay, so we can take a both of them. These two postures, and you will see it in your handout, they are actually balancing postures. So the first two poses of the primary series are balancing postures, but we're just taking a look. Weirdly enough, these two poses also show up at the end or along through the whole sequence. They show up at some point after doing the balancing part. So what we were thinking and what I was discussing with my teacher is that the primary series, as it was getting formed, you know, like it was getting constructed from the practice of a student, it was composed from taking off the balancing postures, and once this pose that we did that comes nearly at the end of the sequence, and the other posture that we're going to take a look at is the second or third seated posture. Once those two seated postures were kind of like okay, they decided to add at the top of primary series for some reason those two balancing postures. Doesn't make much sense, but that's the way that the structure of the primary series is. Okay, so we're gonna bring the right foot in. We're gonna bend the knee. We're gonna place that ankle on top of the thigh. So if you have lotus in your practice, that's all right. If you don't have lotus in your practice, we're gonna try to bring the heel or the ankle a little bit closer to our hip in here. Just depending on where you're at, and there is no any weird knee sensations in here, okay? So option is there for you to stay here if the knee is elevated. The option is there for you to put a block underneath the knee. If you have a half lotus practice in here, you may bring the heel all the way to the hip. The hand, that's your right hand, begins to roll around the waist. Maybe it stays to support the lower back, or if you have a little bit more space, you may catch the foot. We will not go too far on that. We'll just take a big breath in. Option to stay in here. Option to begin to fold forward over the leg. And the other hand catches any part that is accessible on the leg. Take a big breath in, lifting up the chest. Full breath out, long spine. 2 more breaths. Exhale out. 1 more. On the exhale, begin to release. Back to center, release the leg, and shake it out. One of the main things that we need to know when we're practicing half lotus is the part of bringing the knee or the knee joint. It's important that it closes, so we don't mess up with the knee in general. So when the knee joint is closed or locked, it is less possible for the knee to move to the side, which is not supposed to move that way. Okay, so as we bring the knee joint too close, or the knee as close as possible, we begin to bring that heel or the ankle on top of the thigh. Again, maybe you stay in here on your flamingo pose or figure 4, or maybe you begin to bring that leg a little bit closer to your hip. And again, that same arm travels around your waist in here. Maybe you stay with your hand on the lower back, or maybe a little bit closer. Eventually, maybe even holding your arm with your hand. You take a nice long breath in here, and on the exhale, we begin to fold forward over the leg. The arm can stay where it is, or maybe reach towards the front foot. Keeping the other foot nice and active, the chest is nice and open. Big breath in, the gaze towards your toes. Full breath out. 1 more. Long exhale. On your next inhale, lengthen the spine back again. Releasing the arm, releasing your leg back again, and shaking them out. Cross your ankles, press the hands on the floor, step or hop back, Chaturanga position, Chaturanga Dandasana. Find your back at Purva Mukha. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. We have a visitor. On your next inhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Lengthen your spine, inhale. Exhale to pull. Root down through your feet, come all the way up. Samasthiti, hands by our sides. All right. So we kind of like want to replicate that balancing. Okay. So we'll take a look at that. If you're using a strap and you know that you will use a strap, that's all right. We have the option either to use a strap, just as with the practice on the floor. We will just have to adjust maybe the length of the strap as we are holding it. If this tends to be a lot in general with balance. If you find that you are getting into the posture, you may hold your knee instead. Or if you have a little bit more space, of course, you can hold the big toe and begin to extend the leg. Not necessary to extend the full leg in here. We can stay with the knee bent and this chest nice and open, and eventually the leg will straight. Okay, so take what you need. You're going to use your strap tree or not. I'm just asking because it's easier for me. Okay, perfect. To demonstrate how to use the strap. So we bring the strap at the ball of the foot, and we hold the strap with our right hand, right? Just spread the toes nice and wide on the other foot, and the hand comes to your hip. With the elbow pointing towards the back. Take a deep breath in, and here begin to rise the leg. And here, as I said, maybe you adjust. And you go around a little bit, just adjusting the length of your strap. If you can hold it from a little bit closer to your foot, that's all right. And again, you can stay in here, or maybe on the exhale, you begin to fall forward over the leg. Take a nice long inhale. Smooth out breath. On your next inhale, begin to rise back again. If you're holding this, if you're holding forward, and on the exhale, begin to open the knee or the leg towards the side. And of course, if you have a wall, like look at our teacher, she's using the wall. So, and if you have a wall, and if you want to use the wall, you can use the wall. Take another inhale. Smooth out breath. On your next inhale, come back to center. On the exhale, begin to fold forward back again. Take a nice long breath, lengthen back, hands to your hips. Begin to lift, point your toes, release the strap. Yes. Take another inhale, keep it up. Full breath out. One more. On the exhale, release. Hands by your sides. And shake that out. Okay, so that is like a lot. You will see that under manual. It's Utthita Hasta. A, falling forward. B, opening to the side. C, without holding. Okay, and we stay for 5 breaths each step. Okay, so let's do the second side. So hands to your hips back again. If you want to change your strap, you can change your strap. If you're using your knee instead, that's all right. Just try to replicate whatever you did in the other foot. This leg might be a little bit more open. I don't know what's happening with my balance today, so I might need a little bit of support in here. And once we have the leg in front of the box, we may take a breath in here, and maybe on the exhale, we begin to fold forward. Try to keep the standing leg nice and long. Take another inhale. Smooth out breath. One more. On the exhale, if you're falling forward, begin to rise back again. and begin to open the leg towards the side. If the balance is really good, maybe you change your gaze towards the opposite side. Take another in breath. Full out breath. On your next inhale, come back to center, fall forward just for one breath. On your next inhale, begin to rise, release the leg, hands to your hips, hold it up. Take a big breath and using those hip flexors. Full exhale, one more. You got this. On the exhale, release. Well, these poses are real fun. But anyway, it is what it is. So, Ardha Padma Ardha, half, Baddha, bound, Padma, again, Pada, foot, Konasana. So I think it's falling forward too. So, okay, so hands to your hips, and we're gonna bring the right leg to the right ankle on top of your thigh. And again, if you have Kapha Lotus in your practice, you may bring your heel a little bit closer to your thigh with the knee pointing down. If this is not possible, or if you have sensitive knees, you can stay with your ankle on top of your thigh. Otherwise, as close as to the hip as possible, we begin to go around with the same hand, and maybe the hand stays on your lower back. Maybe it follows and maybe it grabs your forearm. You can stay in here, staying upright, or maybe you begin to fall forward over the leg. And as you fall forward, you may catch the floor or a block, lengthening the spine as you fall. Full breath out. Beautiful. One more. Exhale that out. On your next inhale, lift the chest if you're folding. Stay for the out breath. On your next inhale, begin to rise back up. And on the exhale, release, hands by your sides. Okay, so the primary series has a lot of that. When you're folding, and then it says like, inhale to lengthen and stay for the out breath. And then on your next inhale, begin to rise. You will see that a lot in the seated positions. Okay, so there's a lot of folds, and when we're coming out of the folds, we kind of like lengthen first, we stay for the out breath, and then we release. Okay, so let's do that on the second side. We bring the ankle on top of the thigh, or your heel towards your hip. I'm not gonna do that in this knee because it's injured. And then maybe that hand comes around and holds the back of the lower back, or holds the opposite arm. Maybe on your next inhale, and here you stay, or maybe on the out breath, you begin to fall forward over the leg. Keep the spine nice and long. Maybe catching the floor or catching your block. One more in breath. Full exhale. If you're folding forward, inhale to lengthen. Stay for the out breath. On your next inhale, press into the foot, come all the way back to standing. And on the exhale, Samasthiti, and release. All right. Well, let's go through the rest of the standing. Take a big breath in to reach up, look up. On the exhale, fold forward a little. Lengthen the spine. Inhale, plant those hands and step or hop back. Chaturanga position, Chaturanga. Find your bag and inhale. Exhale, press back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Bend your knees, sit your hips low, Utkatasana, chair pose. Take a nice big breath in. Empty that out. We know this pose, maybe bringing the hands together or not to face towards each other, depending on the shoulders. Rotating your shoulders back, bringing the tailbone nice and down. Take another in breath. On the exhale, we fall forward, back again. Plant those hands, step or hop back, check quality position. Lengthen and open the spine, pull through. On the exhale, push the hips up and back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, step your right foot in between the hands, back heel pivots down, Virabhadrasana, reaching up towards the sky, and stay for 5. Pressing the feet on the ground, heel to heel alignment. Ideally, the toes are pointing towards the side of the mat. Big breath in. If not, maybe we turn the foot into a 45. Another breath out. Last one. Full exhale. Staying with the arms where they are. We're only going to change the feet. Closing the front foot, opening the back foot, facing back towards the back of the mat. Virabhadrasana, second side. Take a nice big breath in. You got this. Full exhale. Beautiful. Keep on lunging through the front leg. Another in breath. And an out breath. Legs stay as they are. Begin to open your arms, finding warrior 2 position. Or Virabhadrasana. Take a big breath in with the gaze towards your front hand. Full breath out. Just as nice and open. Pressing into the outer part of your back foot. Another inhale. Full exhale. Arms stay as they are. Just change the toes, closing the front foot, opening the back foot. Virabhadrasana, second side. Lunging forward. Take another inhale. Smooth exhale. One more. On the exhale, windmill those hands and step back to your plank with knees or toes lower down. Find your back and inhale. Exhale, press back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take a nice big breath in, raise the heels, bend the knees, walk or step to the top of your seat, sorry. And as we step to our seat, we just went through primary series, the standing asanas. Well, sensitations, fundamental asanas, standing asanas, some of the seated positions just to get a little bit familiar with what we were doing. And now we're going to part of the closing sequence. The closing sequence is composed with back bends, 2 inversions, and 3 seated asanas. So we're going to go through some of them. We're not going to take a look at all of them because I want to really pay attention to the main closing, which is the shoulder stand practice. But for now, we're going to do a back bend. We're going to choose between. We're all going to do Setu Bandhasana for now, and so everybody's got a block. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to lay down on the floor with the back nice and flat on the mat. And we are going to bring that block in between our thighs. You grab the water for me. And as we bring the block in between the thighs, we begin to press the hands on the ground. Make sure your heels are underneath your knees, hip distance apart. Take a big breath and begin to press the block in between your thighs and lift the hips just to a hover. Not even raising it up, just to a hover, just to get a little feel of how the thighs are internally rotating, pressing towards each other. Take a big breath in. Empty out. One more. On the exhale, begin to release back to the ground. Second variation, pressing again, or second attempt, not even variation. Pressing the foot, the block in between your thighs back again. Pressing the heels down on the floor, lift the hips a little bit higher. And just start to feel how the body weight starts to transfer a little bit more into your upper body and into your heels. And if you feel comfortable, of course, you can begin to investigate a little bit how much you are crunching your glutes into your lower back. If they are super hard, try to relax them and transfer all that work into your thighs instead. Take another inhale. And on the exhale, begin to lower back down to the mat. We're gonna do the last one. Pressing into the feet back again, begin to lift the hips, press the block against the thighs, back again. This time the hips lift a lot more higher. Take a big breath in, and again, there is no crunching or no any sensation on the lower back. Full breath out, chest is nice and open. Another in breath. And on the exhale, we begin to lower all the way back down to the floor. We're gonna use the block back again. Release your block from underneath, from between your thighs for a moment. This time we're gonna slide the block underneath the hips. And depending on the size of your block, you may choose, pressing the feet on the ground, lifting the hips and sliding the block. We may stay in this one, or maybe we begin to straighten the legs towards the front of the mat. And as you straighten those legs towards the front of the mat, bring your heels together and your toes to the sides, like chapping feet. Of course, if this is uncomfortable on the lower back, please back out. And keeping your toes towards the sides of the mat, like if you were trying to stick those legs together. Yes, nice and active. Option to stay here, option to bring your hands to hold opposite shoulders. Big breath in. Smooth breath out. So this pose, Setu Bandhasana, is the last pose of primary series. And eventually, the lot of practice will be done without the block and with your head touching the ground. Another inhale instead of your shoulders. Full exhale. Tomorrow. One more. On the exhale, begin to release. Back to center. If your legs are extended, you can bend your knees, press the feet on the ground, lift your hips, and remove your prop from underneath. All right, so for an inversion, we're gonna take a look at legs up for now, because I want to go to preparation for Shishasana. So I think everybody's got a wall near you. You're more than welcome to use the wall. If you are not comfortable with the wall, you can bring your hips to supported by your block, and lift your legs towards the sky. Of course, if you are you practice shoulder stand and you want to go through shoulder stand practice, I suggest that you honor your body and honor your practice. So bring your feet back to the ground. Lift your hips. Lift your hips. And we're going to slide our block. Is this uncomfortable, honey?
It's kind of something wrong on the lower back.
Okay.
Binge.
Okay.
Yeah. I had it for like many years.
Okay. So maybe you know what? Instead of that, Let's see. Okay, with the hips. Okay, what about that? Okay, feels better.
Yeah.
Okay, bring your legs up.
Yep.
Yeah. Get no problem. Take a moment here. Just allowing your legs to kind of like go towards the sky and relax your shoulders on the ground, kind of like getting the feel of how the pressure transfer a little bit more onto your shoulders, never on your neck. This pose is really helpful for people who have sleeping problems to go to sleep or relax. As it helps us to connect to the parasympathetic nervous system. Let's take 2, 3 more breaths. And whenever you feel ready, begin to lower your legs. If you're flying, bring your knees into your chest and with control, come all the way back to the ground. Lifting your hips and removing your prop from underneath. Counter posture for that. Extending your arms beside your body, Matsyasana. Just along your body along the mat. Matsyasana, or fish pose. We can keep the legs extended or the legs crossed as we were seated. So whatever feels more comfortable, press your hands on the ground, press your forearms on the ground as well, and lift your chest. And as we lift the chest, we begin to open the chest towards the sky, and we begin to drop the head back towards the ground. There is no pressure on the neck. Take a big breath in. Smooth breath out. One more. On the exhale, pressing the forearms on the ground, releasing your neck, releasing all the way back to the ground. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. And whenever you feel ready, find your way to your seat. We'll take a look at Shirshasana next week. We're going to take a look at the last 3 poses. So seating in either Sukhasana, which is your easy seated position, or half lotus or half Padmasana. If you have full Padmasana, that's always an option too. Whatever is your practice, just sitting in a nice, comfortable position. Yoga Mudra. Hands go around us. Option to hold opposite elbows, opposite wrists, opposite hands, depending on where you're at. And of course, if you have the lotus, maybe you go around and hold the big toes. Depending where you're at. Holding any part that is accessible, take a big breath in, chest is nice and open. Keeping your hips grounded, begin to fall forward over the center. And you can stay wherever you need to stay there. If you need support underneath your forehead, you may bring support to you for putting a block underneath your forehead, if your forehead doesn't touch the ground. Take a couple of breaths in here. Another in breath. Full out breath. Your next inhale, begin to lift back again, releasing your arms. Finding Padmasana with your index and thumb coming to touch the other fingers, remain extended in Jan Mudra. Rotating your shoulders back, lifting the chest, and we stay here for 8 expansive breaths. Again, bringing the gaze towards either the nose, maybe some point in front of you that's not moving. Option to close the eyes as well. Concentrating on the breath. Chin is slightly tucked, spine is nice and long. Concentrate on the breath. Six, seven, and 8. Releasing your hands. Uddiyana. Hands beside your hips. We're gonna lift supposedly for 25 breaths. People just do 10. You can use blocks if you have blocks, actually. Yes, that would be a good practice. So that's, take this one. I'm gonna lift here. Bless you, bless you. Oh, comfort. Sorry about that. It's allergic to comfort. Okay, confused. So pressing the hands on the blocks or beside your body. Take a big breath in and begin to lift the hips off the ground. The knees can stay on the ground, just lift the hips. Big breath in, bringing the navel in. 2, 3, 4. Concentrate on the breath. 5, 6. You got this. 7, 8, 9. Release all the way back down. Oh, it's right. Yes. It wouldn't be Ashtanga if it didn't have like a horrible asana at the end, right? Like right after relaxing. So, right, we release the legs. We cross the ankles, press the hands on the floor, step back to your plank. With knees or toes, we'll lower down. Find your back bend. Inhale. Press up, the hips up and back, downward facing dog. And your next inhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Samastiti, hands fire slats. And we go through the closing mantra together this time. Hands to the center of the chest. And we'll do a colon repeat as well. Swasti pratabhyaha. Swasti pratabhyaha. Paripalendhyam. Paripalendhyam. Nyayena margena. Nyayena margena. Mahim mahishaha. Mahim mahishaha. Go Brahmanibhyaha. Brahmanevyaha Shubhamastu Nityam Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sukhino Bhavantu. Together. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Releasing our hands. Take a big breath and reach up. Do it, exhale, fold forward again. Then inhale, head up. Chatwari Pandals, hands separate, hop back, Chaturanga. Find your back and inhale. Exhale, press back, Adho Prasvanasana, downward facing dog, and we take rest. We bring the knees to the ground, find your way to your back with your crown of the head facing the altar. Allowing yourself to be nice and comfortable here. Allow your body rest on the ground, closing your eyes. Allow your full body be soft on your mat. Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalavyam Nyayena Maryena Mahim Mahishah Go Brahmanevyaha Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May the rulers of the earth protect the well-being of the people with justice by means of the right path. May there always be good for all living beings. May the inhabitants of the world be full of happiness. Om, peace, peace, peace. If you're feeling good where you're at, you're more than welcome to stay as long as you need. If you want to start connecting back to your movement, just be very gentle. Connect to your breath first. Eventually finding your way to your movement. Taking a couple of deep breaths. Maybe allowing your arms to stretch out. Maybe allowing your head to turn side to side. You choose. This is your practice. Eventually finding your way into a fetal position on the side of your twigs. Just taking a moment to connect back to your breath. And eventually finding your way to your seated position. With your eyes closed and the hands at the center of the chest. And then mudra. Just taking a moment here to connect again to your intention. The reason why you keep on stepping back on your mat. Rubbing your palms together. And cover your eyes. Rub your palms one more time. We cover that part of the body that needs to be moved right now. Thank you so much for your practice. It's an honor to be here with you. Thank you so much for joining me and for bringing your energy here. I will see you next time. Thank you. Have a peaceful rest of your day. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much for joining. Nos vemos.
Thank you for you. I love. Kiss, kiss.
Besos.
Besos.
Bye, bye.
Tu alumna es está divina. Dile que yo me la quiero traer a México.
Ok, le voy a decir. Le voy a decir.
¿Eh? Besos, muñeca. Cuídate mucho.
Really beautiful. Ok, muy bien. Besitos. She's sweet. I was